Hello everyone and welcome back. If you've watched this Turkey series from the very beginning, from our pre-travel day stay near Gatwick Airport right through to our final journey home, then firstly, thank you. It honestly means so much that you've chosen to spend this holiday with us. Over the past few weeks, we've shared every part of our stay here at the TUI Blue Sensatori Akra Fethiye. We've shown you our room, taken you along on our days around the resort, explored Fethiye Old Town together, enjoyed some incredible food, and of course sampled more than a few cocktails along the way. But before we move on to next week's video, where Ash and I will finally compare all three Sensatori resorts we've stayed at over the years, I wanted to do something a little bit different. Rather than just standing in front of the camera, pointing out where everything is, I thought we'd simply take one final walk around this beautiful resort together. You know, a chance to slow everything down, to appreciate the little details, and to reflect on what has genuinely become one of our favourite holidays. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you'll already know that Ash and I are very much creatures of habit. When we find somewhere we love, we tend to keep going back. There's something really comforting about returning somewhere familiar, knowing exactly what to expect and creating new memories in places that already mean something to you. So if I'm being completely honest, booking somewhere new was actually quite a big decision for us. We knew people spoke really highly of this resort. We'd watched videos, Ash had read reviews, looked through countless photos online, but until you actually arrive somewhere, you never really know whether it's going to live up to your expectations. And looking back now, I don't think we had anything to worry about. From the moment we arrived, there was just something about this place that made us feel at home. It's quite hard to explain, because it wasn't one specific thing. It wasn't just the pools or the beach or the restaurants, as lovely as those were. It was the atmosphere, the people, the welcome we received. The feeling that this was somewhere we could completely switch off and simply enjoy being together. And sometimes that's exactly what a holiday should be. As we've walked around over the last week, we've found ourselves discovering little corners of the resort we'd never expected to spend so much time in. Places we'd walk past every morning. Views we'd stop and admire every evening. And before long, those little moments became part of our daily routine. Funny really, because those are often the memories you end up missing the most when you go back home. Not the big moments, the little ones. Walking to breakfast, hearing the birds in the gardens, watching people enjoying their holidays, finding your favourite place to sit with a drink as the sun slowly begins to set. Finding your favourite place to sit with a drink as the sun begins to set. Those are the moments that stay with you. One thing we've learnt over the years is that the best holidays aren't always about having the biggest water park or the fanciest restaurants. Sometimes it's simply about how a place makes you feel. And that's probably the biggest compliment I can give this resort. It just felt easy. There was never a rush, never any pressure to be somewhere at a certain time. Every morning we'd wake up, wander down to the sunrise, head for breakfast, and just let the day unfold naturally. Some days we'd spend hours around the pool. Other days we'd head down to the beach and just listen to the waves. And before we knew it, another day had passed. That's something we both really appreciated about staying here. It gave us permission to slow down. Life at home can often feel like it's constantly moving. There's always another job to do, another email, another deadline, another reason to be rushing somewhere. But here, none of that seemed to matter. For 1 week, the only decision we really had to make was where we were going to eat next. And if you've watched the series, you'll know that wasn't exactly a difficult decision to make. We were genuinely impressed with the food throughout our stay. Everyone's tastes are different, of course, but for us, there were definitely a few places that really stood out. Without a doubt, Teo was our favourite evening restaurant. When we walked through those doors, it felt like a special occasion. The atmosphere, the presentation, the flavours. It was one of those meals you finish and immediately start talking about when you're walking back to the room. If we came back tomorrow, it'd probably be the first restaurant we'd book again. When it came to lunch, Sunset Steak and Basilico quickly became our favourites. Sunset Steak was brilliant, especially with those beautiful views looking out towards the beach. There's just something about sitting with a nice lunch while looking out over the sea that instantly puts you in that holiday mode. And Basilico was another place we found ourselves looking forward to. Relaxed, friendly, great food. Exactly what you want in the middle of a sunny afternoon. Now, we always like to be completely honest on this channel. Not every experience is going to be everyone's favourite, right? For us, the Turkish restaurant was probably the one meal that didn't quite live up to the others. That's not to say it wasn't good. It just didn't quite have the same wow factor that we experienced elsewhere around the resort. Of course, that's just our opinion. And one of the lovely things about travelling is that everyone comes away with different favourites. And speaking of favourites, I definitely think I found a new cocktail obsession this week. Now, if you've watched our holidays before, you'll know I don't exactly need much encouragement when it comes to trying out the cocktail menu. But the rollover Beethoven completely won me over. I don't know whether it was the strawberry flavour or just the fact it tasted like summer in a glass, but every holiday seems to have that one drink you'll forever associate with that trip. For me, that was it. And somehow it tasted even better sitting by the beach as the sun started going down. Those evenings became one of my favourite parts of every single day. No plans, no rushing, just sitting together, chatting about the day we'd had while watching everyone else enjoying theirs. They're simple moments, but they're often the ones that stay with you long after you've unpacked that case. As the week went on, I found myself thinking something that I really wasn't expecting. This wasn't just another lovely holiday. This was somewhere I could genuinely picture us coming back to. And if you know us, you'll know that probably says more than any review ever could. We are very loyal to the places we love. Once somewhere feels like home, it's difficult to imagine going anywhere else. That's why booking this holiday felt like such a gamble in the first place, not because we thought it would be bad, but because we already had 2 Sensatori resorts that we'd built so many memories in. Whether it was Coral Sea in Egypt or Aphrodite Hills in Cyprus, those holidays have become part of our story over the years. Trying somewhere completely new almost felt like we were stepping away from something so familiar. Instead, we found another place to love. And I honestly don't think we expected that. In fact, there were moments during this holiday where this resort didn't just stand proudly alongside the others, it genuinely surprised us by doing certain things even better. We'll save all of that for next week's comparison video. But let's just say, this resort has certainly made that decision a lot more difficult than we ever imagined. One thing that really stood out throughout the week was the people. A beautiful hotel is one thing, lovely food is another, but it's the people who often make the biggest difference. Whether it was a friendly smile in the morning, someone remembering your drink order, or simply taking the time to stop and say hello. Those little interactions add up over the course of a holiday. You begin to recognise familiar faces, and they begin to recognise you. And before long, it starts feeling less like a hotel and more like a little community. I think that's one of the reasons we settled in so quickly. Even the beach cabana day became a really good example of that. If you've watched that vlog already, you'll know that at first we weren't completely convinced. Paying extra for the experience, we weren't quite sure whether it was going to be worth it. But sometimes all it takes is one person to completely change your opinion. The level of service we received throughout that day became exceptional. And by the time we left, we weren't talking about the price anymore. We were talking about the experience. And that's something we'll always remember. It's funny really, when you come on holiday you often think the biggest memories will be the grand moments, the excursions, the entertainment, the photos, but when you look back, it's usually the little moments that stay with you. walking through those gardens, sitting quietly by the pool, watching the sun disappear behind the beautiful mountains, and sharing another drink before dinner, laughing about absolutely nothing. Those are the memories that become priceless. And maybe that's why this holiday has stayed with us so much. Because it reminded us that sometimes happiness isn't about doing more. It's about appreciating more. Sometimes the best days are the ones where nothing particularly extraordinary happens, and yet somehow they become the ones you never forget. As our walk around the resort comes to an end, I just wanted to say thank you. Not just to this beautiful resort, but to every single one of you who's joined us throughout this holiday. Whether you've watched every episode from the very beginning or this is the first video you've come across, I really do appreciate you spending your time with us. That's something I'll never take for granted. When I first started making these videos, I never imagined that one day we'd have thousands of people travelling alongside us from all over the world. It's quite incredible when you stop and think about it. And I hope that through this series, you've felt like you've been here with us. Whether you've been watching because you've already booked this hotel, because you're thinking about booking, or simply because you enjoy escaping for 20 odd minutes with us each week. I hope these videos have brought you a little bit of happiness. Because at the end of the day, that's what this channel has always been about. Not chasing the perfect holiday, not pretending everything is perfect, just finding joy in the everyday moments and sharing them with people who enjoy coming along for the journey. Looking back over this series, there are so many moments that I'll remember. The excitement of arriving, opening the door to our swim up room for the very first time, those peaceful mornings before breakfast, afternoons spent switching off by the pool, watching the sunset from the beach, trying the new restaurants, discovering a new favourite cocktail, or exploring Fethiye together, and simply having the chance to slow life down for a little while. Those are the memories that stay with you. And I think that's exactly what a holiday should do. If someone asked me today whether I'd recommend the TUI Blue Sensatori Akra Fethiye, the answer would be absolutely yes. Not because it's perfect, no hotel ever is, but because for us, it gave us exactly what we needed. A place to relax, a place to recharge, a place where we genuinely felt at home. And I think that's probably the biggest compliment I could ever give it. As we leave this beautiful resort behind, it's funny how quickly somewhere unfamiliar can become somewhere that feels so familiar. Only a week ago, we were walking through these paths for the very first time. Now, it almost feels strange saying goodbye. But every holiday eventually comes to an end. The memories though, they stay with you forever. Before we finish, I just wanted to let you know that next week we'll be uploading one final video from this trip. So many of you have asked us over the years, which Sensatori resort is your favourite? Well, after visiting 3 of them, it's finally time to answer that question. We'll be comparing the TUI Blue Sensatori Akra Fethiye with the TUI Blue Coral Sea Sensatori in Egypt and the Sensatori Aphrodite Hills in Cyprus, sharing our honest thoughts on what each one does brilliantly and ultimately which resort we'd choose if we could only return to one. I have a feeling that video might surprise a few people, or it might not. So if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. And finally, to everyone at the TUI Blue Sensatori Akra Fethiye, thank you. Thank you for making us feel so welcome. Thank you for giving us a holiday we'll remember for a very, very long time. And thank you for reminding us that sometimes the best memories come from taking a chance on somewhere new. Take care everyone. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, stay happy, stay positive. I love you all so much, and I'll see you in the next video.